Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 1 year anniversary of the Rock Shop with Ralph. I can't believe it. And who do I got on it? One of my favorite characters from the best TV show of all time, The Sopranos. I have John Fiore, who played Gigi. Is it Sestone or
Testosterone. No,
right. If you say it the Italian
big
way, it's
stones.
different.
It means big stones.
Sestone, one of the most believable characters on the show. And I told John this. There's my surprise. I always got to point this out. There's my Sopranos picture up there.
Yeah.
John, we got to start off with how you doing?
How you doing, Ralph? What's the story, kid? What's the latest?
The story is I'm on cloud nine. I lasted a year, John. Over 70 interviews. 70 interviews. This little fat kid from Queens did 70 interviews with some of my heroes in music, movies, producers, porn stars. I had them all here.
You've commandeered the airwaves.
Yes, but I couldn't get everybody back. I try to get back some of the most popular, some of the most endearing to me. Everybody knows how much I love The Sopranos, and your character. I said that on the interview how believable Gigi was. I had Robert Farner on a couple of weeks ago, and he still calls you the capo.
Bobby's great. He's fantastic, superb actor, superb human being. Love him.
Yes,
he's one of my good friends on the show. We had a good time while it lasted.
Right. So here's what I want to tell you. People, I know most people know John's face. I want to tell you some of the movies that he was in, and we'll do his new stuff. He's not going to be on too long. I have a bunch of people coming on. Everybody knows as I advertised it. Here's some of the movies that the TV shows and movies that John was in: Sopranos, Law and Order, Mystic Pizza. Most people don't know that. And one of my favorite movies, which was his first one from growing up, One Crazy Summer with John Cusack and Demi Moore.
Yeah. Well, that was a memorable movie. Not so much my part, from my experience on it. You want me to tell it quickly?
I think you told it the last interview about you drinking.
I probably did, about getting shit-faced and puking on the guy's nice sailboat.
Well, let's talk, because we don't have much time. Let's keep it on The Sopranos. I want to ask you a question about The Sopranos, and I asked John this. The ending. What do you think happened?
I mean, it's at this point, everybody says everything, including David Chase. I think over the years has even said yes, no, and this, whatever. It's so open to interpretation at this point. I really think, not to wuss out, it could be whatever you want it to be. And for me, maybe because I love the character and the guy, you don't want him to have been shot and killed. I don't know. I don't go there. I say he lived. I just say it was Monday and he went on, and that's that. So that's what I think.
It's funny. I texted you before. I always text John these little things here and there because we became, I guess we can call each other friends now.
Yeah, of course.
I say the twin. We got a problem with the twin.
With the twin.
He's into the booze, and I mean heavy.
I know.
So John, John was
moment.
I'm sorry, John. John was having a little bit of a hard time logging on, so I go, John, I think you're in the booze, and I mean heavy.
Sometimes I have been into the booze, very heavy, Ralph.
Hey, listen, to each his own, and we've all made mistakes. I always say that. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Most memorable scene that you've done in The Sopranos.
Well, I would have to say the shooting of Spoons, my good friend Dan Grimaldi.
You big mouth fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it was an action. You know what I mean? A little piece of action. I've never gotten to do that like that before or since. So that stands out. I remember that day very well. It was just Danny and I were there. The rest of the crew was shooting in Italy at the time. That episode they shot there. So we had a great time, and it's memorable on many levels.
What was the significance of him holding his ear when you did that? I thought that something was meant, like later on was going to happen.
Well, you mean when I shot him?
Yes.
Well, the sound, the
that's all
loudness.
it was. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like it was too loud. You know what I mean? Like the echo.
I got
in
you.
there.
Because David Chase always uses symbols throughout the series. I thought that might have meant something, you know?
Oh, I see. It's funny. I never thought that.
Yeah, because
now I'm getting it.
There you go.
And I see what you're saying. Oh, like a premonition toward the
right.
Yeah, no, that was just because the gunshot was so loud.
You know, because I asked Robert Farner, because when he had his big members only, which was one of my favorite episodes of all of them, and he killed Teddy, and he was driving and he's wiping. I saw there was a botch of blood, and he was going like this as he was driving, and he even said, he goes, "I'm glad you picked up on that," because what he was trying to say was you can never remove the blood on your hands from killing people.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So that was David Chase. So anyway, John, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to tell you a couple of the stuff you have. Wait, where'd you go?
I'm still here.
Good.
Ralph.
You're good.
All right.
Was that your daughter?
Battery went low.
Oh, all right. So listen, everybody, John's got a couple of movies coming out. We spoke about this one the last time. Z Dead End, about the zombies, and he plays a general. I got to see that because I don't believe you as a general.
Oh yeah, no, I do it all, baby. Commander in chief, do everything.
And then you got another
good one.
Yes, Down on the Shore. Mick and
Down the Shore is going to be a hot series we're doing. That people should go to Down the Shore's Indiegogo page.
Right.
We're just about there, and it's all cherries on top of the cake at this point. That's going to be a good one.
And before we go, here's one I want to talk about: the Mick and the Trick, who you have Armin Garrow in there with you, right?
Yes,
I love that guy. He played Coco.
He's awesome. Armin's in that. We didn't work together on that. We talked during that time, of course, but yeah, we both appear in that. We're happy about that.
Anything that I didn't mention that you have upcoming that you audition for? Maybe you can tell us.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but I don't like to say too much until things hatch. You know what I mean? But you know, we're still actually doing Z Dead End, doing some pickups pretty soon, and that's going to be completed. It's about 80% of the way done right now.
Cool.
And Down the Shore is going to be a series. So those are the two things that are in the forefront at the moment.
Awesome, John. One last thing about the Sopranos, and I promise I won't say anything else. Your memory of James Gandolfini. What do you remember most about him?
I remember him just being a fantastic guy, generous guy, sweetheart, a man's man, a guy to want to hang with, talk with, have a drink with, act with. Just a real good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Who was the funniest guy off the air on that show?
I'd have to say, I mean, a lot of funny guys, but Tony Sirico, because when he was off the air, he was still, as everybody says, he's still pretty much Paulie Walnuts.
Yeah, that was just him, right?
He was funny. He was great. He was like just innately hysterical. That's great. Right. Funny as hell.
Well, listen, John, I want to thank you for coming on my anniversary show. You didn't have to do this. It was put together rather quickly, and I got you, and you came, and like I said, you're part of the Rock Shop family. So I look forward to doing a full interview the next time.
Yes.
I really do appreciate you coming back, and you're one of my favorite characters on it. I told you that.
Thanks, Ralph.
But I really appreciate it.
Congratulations on your anniversary. Thank you.
Awesome, John. Thank you for coming. I'll talk to you another time. Man. Bye.
Okay. See ya.
And we're back. And I can't believe my next guest to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Rock Shop with Ralph. He's a returning guest. He's what happened to him? There he goes. He's a former New Yorker, and he's got one knock on him. He's a Yankee fan. And we got big news from the Mets today. Big news. Anyway, I want to welcome from the last American Virgin, the Big Apple, Mr. Joe Rubbo.
Hey, happy anniversary. Why yo?
You want to stop shaking that camera there, buddy?
I'm trying to get.
Was he shaking, Frankie? Was he shaking? He was shaking, right? He was shaking. I don't know about you, Joe. You ain't full of the question.
Happy anniversary. It's been a year. I'm in.
A year, bro. 70 interviews. I can't believe it.
Wow.
Well, yeah, we came a long way. This little fat kid from
God
Queens.
Bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to be on this show.
Right,
always
Joe?
A treat.
Right? Yeah, you came on probably midway through my year. A lot of hits on your interview. I get a lot of questions about it because that movie, Last American Virgin, I told you it was a coming of age. If you're my age now, I'm 51. If you're in your 40s to 50s, you saw that movie and it was like, wow, it was one of a kind at the time. You know, you didn't hear about abortions, and you didn't hear about snorting cocaine and all that. Well, you heard about it, but you didn't see it in too many movies, or snorting sweet and low.
It's still would be kind of risque today to put it out, you know.
Exactly.
Some touchy issues in there.
Yes, and the soundtrack. We talked about that too, Joe. The soundtrack. If you look at those songs on that soundtrack, there's no way you're gonna have another movie with all those hit songs on there.
Exactly. It's crazy too, Ralph. Of course, I'm driving in the car and a song comes on. I'm going, oh shit, another one from the movie.
The best was every time something happened, like if there was an argument or something, and Lawrence Monison, who played Gary, goes off and I'll start driving. You hear "Keep on Loving You." I wanna keep on.
Something said, yeah.
Something said. You heard that. Then when you had the party going on, you hear, what the the da by the Police.
Yeah.
Or "Whip It" by
Devo. Yeah.
Devo. It's so great. And we had Diane Franklin on.
Yeah.
She was on.
I crashed that party.
And you crashed it. I had the first. Almost 40, half the cast, the 40-year reunion of the Last American Virgin, and there's been a couple of knockoffs where people have been trying to do the 40-year anniversary on their shows too. But I can say I was the first.
You're the originator.
I'm the originator, and what a sweetheart Diane Franklin is. And I have her picture behind me. She sent me pictures. Let me just get this. Hold on. There we go. You can see her right behind me.
I see it. Mm-hmm.
I said, Diane, you sending me a picture. I'm putting you right behind me. And there she is. What a sweetheart Diane Franklin is.
She's a great girl. I can't wait to see her again. Another year we're going to start this reunion. We got a screening. Definitely there's going to be one definitely in LA. We're trying to do one in New York, New Jersey. We're trying to do that one around Chiller Theater time.
Right. Yeah, and I'm hoping to get the you guys on it. We wanted to get Lawrence. Yeah, and we wanted to get
Steve.
I'm sorry, Steve Anton. You know what? Yeah. Since I had COVID, I've been drawing blanks. I don't know.
Yeah,
I had COVID.
I'm trying to get Steve to come to the reunion. That's going to be like pulling teeth.
Yeah, but real quick, because we're a little pressed for time, Joe.
Go ahead.
I want to say it, and I said this before. Everybody watching this is witnessing the big comeback of the Big Apple, Joe Rubbo, because he's starting up VIP television again.
Reboot, yep, total reboot.
He's rebooting it. You want to mention what that does real quick?
Yeah, VIP TV is the South Florida lifestyle show, all the hottest and happening things in South Florida. But our goal is to turn it into a network and have all different kinds of shows on it, different show ideas and stuff like that. I'm currently working on a book and a docu-series.
Right.
With Donna Martouge, a best-selling author. And I'm going to keep you up to date on that too.
Yes, you gotta.
Yeah.
And don't forget about the documentary you did with Carmine Appice, who I had on the show as well.
Yes. They're finishing that up. I don't know when that's coming out. They're starting it behind the scenes. I don't know how they're doing it behind the scenes before the friggin' thing even came out yet. I don't know how that's
right. You don't know what's happening.
Yeah, but this book is going to be something else, Ralphie. And
awesome.
When we do the screening in New York, your VIP section all the way, brother.
All right. See that? Yeah. The little fat kid from Queens is moving up.
And get some questions ready so you can ask him that day too.
I got questions, Joe. Come on.
I know you do. You ask the best questions.
There you go. I wish we had more time. You could stay if you want. I gotta let some more people in. Or
go ahead. I'm gonna go do what I gotta do.
I want to thank
you. Happy anniversary, and let's set up a come on again. We'll talk for a couple hours.
But you're part of the family. I told you, you're part of the family. So thank you, Joe Rubbo, for coming in. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it.
I'm proud of you, and you're always supporting me, and I'll always support you.
Thank you.
I'll
talk to you, bro. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Let's see what we got.
What up, boss?
Oh, better late than ever.
That's
His-
right. Better
his-
late than pregnant, man. How are you, pal?
I know. There he is. There he is. I know the voice and I know the face.
Well,
Ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead.
No, you finish it. I want the intro.
You're damn right you want the intro, right? You want the full effect.
That's it.
From Sirius XM and the Dictators, the new Dictators guitarist, my brother from another mother, but I want you to say it at least once during this interview, a real quick drop by. I want you to say it once. My buddy, Mr. Keith Roth.
What's up, my brother Ralph? My brother from another mother. Good to see you, man.
Thanks, man. I can't believe I says, you know why? I think Keith got stuck in traffic. You know why? Yeah, I figured that, brother. But no, it shows you the determination. Keith has prior commitments. He says, you know what? I'm going to do a quick drop by. And I says, that's better than nothing. I really appreciate it. If you can make it, you can make it. You can't, you can't. But he made it anyway. He's a man of his word.
I had so much fun with you a couple of weeks ago being on the Rock Shop. And, you're a good man and you're doing good things. And, I wanted to swing by to wish you a happy 1-year anniversary, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I know you're pressed for time. I just want to tell you thank you very much. You're a part of the family. What's going on with you real quick? What do you got coming up?
We're going to make a debut with my another project that I'm in called Secret Fox with Dean Rispler from Murphy's Law and the Dictators and Zuzu from Soraya. Working on that. We're getting a single ready for Frankenstein 3000, hopefully to be out before Christmas. And Dictators, we're working on a record. And what else? I'm trying to think of any, I don't know. And, Sirius XM and everything else, man. It's just, It's been overwhelming, but it's all good, man. That's what keeps us sane.
Awesome. Do you have any interviews lined up that you can divulge?
For the Electric Ballroom?
Yeah.
I got Jow Wobble.
All right.
Jow Wobble from Public Image Limited. And I got the great Jack Andino, iconic Seattle producer. He's jumping on next week. He did Nirvana and Sound.
Yeah.
So those are my next 2 weeks of guests coming up for the ballroom.
Awesome.
And I think Dave Navarro is going to be joining me in Ozzy's Boneyard. And he's got something cool shaking with Taylor Hawkins. So, the radio stuff is always fun, man.
Yeah, I just saw Taylor at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Man, he's in some shape, that guy.
He's a great guy. I love him, man.
Shit. Yeah.
When I did that thing at the Kiss show at the Whiskey A Go-Go. Did you listen in?
Of course I listened.
So I was doing the commentary when they were walking up the street to the Whiskey. Gene Simmons is walking up the street. They shut the whole streets down in LA, and he only got onto the streets the Highway Patrol, the LAPD, everybody was there keeping everybody off the streets while Kiss walked up to the Whiskey, but Taylor Hawkins. And I said to him, you can curse on your show, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm like, so how the hell did you get, the only fucking guy on the streets? How did you do that? He goes, you know how much cock I sucked to get this far?
Whoa!
But he was kidding around, of course.
I know. You know what I find funny, Keith? I listen to you all the time on Sirius, and when you say cock and suck, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I know, right? That's a beautiful thing about it.
Absolutely. But listen, Keith, I know you're pressed for time. I want to thank you for stopping by. You're a man of your word. You came through. Like I said, brother, we're family now. You're part of my family. Anything you need ever, if you want a face for radio, that's me.
You got a great face, man, for radio, and you can be an actor. And once again, man, I just want to swing by and wish you a happy 1-year anniversary. It was really cool catching up with you and being on the show, and much success to you in the show.
Thank you.
And
Keith.
I know. Tell Mark Farner I said hi.
He's coming on 15 minutes, and everybody wants him. Everybody's saying it, bro.
Well,
I got Greg Chaisson from Badlands and Rat and everything. He's a huge fan of his. He's happy to be there. And I got Jim Crean, who's the lead singer from the Appice brothers, and he was the singer that Carmine Appice had for the Vinnie Vincent debacle. But he's coming on as well. Bunch of people. But I appreciate you coming on. And come on, say it once, Keith. I want you to say it. What am I?
You're my brother from another mother, man.
That's it, baby. That's what I wanted to hear, Keith.
Ralph and the Rock Shop, continued success. Have a great new year. Happy holidays to everybody that's listening. Much love and success to all.
Thanks, my brother. I'll see you later, bro.
You got it, my friend. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
And I got somebody else. He's got to click start video. Oh, boy. I got to tell him ask to start video. I wanted to have a rhythm, and Sal's got to bust up the rhythm. Yeah, I hear you. There you go. And who do we have? The first guest ever on the Rock Shop with Ralph, my friend for over 30 years, Ozone Park native. He was in the hit HBO series Oz, among many other movies. He's known, there it is. He's known as the mayor of rock and roll, Mr. Sal Sirchia. How are you, Sal?
Baby, yeah. I'm good. Did I keep you waiting long? I've been here for a while.
No, I had to keep you waiting because I was trying to keep a rhythm. I had some people came on late, and I'm actually waiting for another person, Jimmy Palumbo from Beer League, and up. He's coming in early. He's too early. He's come anyway.
Yeah, actually, I don't know.
So Sal, what's going on?
What's going on? It's freezing outside, it's hot and sweaty. It must be time for Crazy Eddie's Christmas sale with the Rock Shop.
Yeah, well,
on?
hold on. And I don't mean to be rude. I just got to text this person that came in too early. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so how do you feel about having the distinction of being the first interview on the Rock Shop with Ralph?
Oh man, like I said, man, I'm honored. I was honored to be the first guest on the show, and we had a great time, and it was really cool because it was your first show, so it's like the first show is always a special one, I think.
Absolutely, and we go way back
on TV. The first, what do they call it?
The inaugural show.
They call it the when you saw the news.
The inaugural show,
Yeah.
Inaugural.
Well, what when you have TV shows in the very first,
The debut.
that's what it's called.
Yeah, the debut. You can call it whatever you want. The first one, the debut, whatever you want. Call it whatever you want. But anyway, Sal Sirchia is known as the mayor of rock and roll. He knows basically everybody. I mean, if you look in Sal Sirchia's phone, he'll have Robin Zander. He'll have William Forsythe. He'll have he'll have who's the other one? Joe Lanterna. I mean, and then you know what? I told you the last time. I'm sorry, Sal. These people keep texting me, and I'm telling them no. If you met Sal and you hear him in Italian, it's called a cacchirone. He likes to talk, just like me. And you're like, yeah, this guy's full of shit. Yeah, fucking Bruce Willis, fucking Robin Zander, Joe Lanterna. The guys from the Warriors, Michael Beck. And then all of a sudden, he's talking to him. What's that?
How about the guys on your T-shirt? Peter Chris.
Oh, Peter Chris. Yeah. I could go on and on. Johnny Potenza, who I interviewed last night.
My man Johnny P.
Yeah, Johnny P. He knows you. You're like the who's who. And I always looked up to you because I'm a little bit younger than you. I was in high school and you were out of high school, and we would get together at a studio. We would jam. We would play songs. I actually was a DJ in Richmond Hill Radio. We had a station called WHIL, and you wrote the theme song. Remember that?
Oh, I didn't know. You know what?
WHIL, rocking with WHI, rolling with WHIL. You forgot?
The music we play will get you
through the day, right?
On WHIL. Oh,
and this anniversary show is sort of like a 6 degrees of separation with the Rock Shop. You gave a song to the band Fire Tiger, who I interviewed, and they did your song, Can't Love Without You.
Yeah, that song has been covered by many, many people, actually. Fire Tiger, Kelsey Cohen, Diverse, Chad Watson. So many people recorded that song.
Right.
And a lot. But
that's still not your best song, I don't think. What my best song is? I love Carry On.
You always say that.
And I think my band's gonna cover that song. I'm gonna talk to them this week at rehearsal. I'm gonna say, listen, we gotta do this song.
Do it for sure. I'll shop you to the record labels, being your recording myself.
I just had Keith Roth on from Sirius XM. I told him, I said, if he ever needs a face for radio, I'm the guy.
Definitely, you'd be great on there, Sirius Radio. I've been on Sirius Radio. I was on.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's very serious. When Knock Knock came out, Dee Snider from Twisted Sister and Debbie Rochon had a show. It was Fangoria. It's horror.
Right, Fangoria Radio.
Yeah, and I was interviewed. I was on that show for about an hour. It was a cool show, and I was singing some of Twisted Sister's greatest hits for Dee. You know, he liked that stuff. He liked that.
Right. Here's a question I have for you, Sal. On the show Oz, what are your memories about being on the show Oz?
Oh, my memories were like waking up too early.
Because you were, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You were a background character. You know, it wasn't much speaking parts, but you played like a tough guy in the background with
I was part of the Italian crew. So I worked Monday through Friday like a regular job. It was like, you know, the whole season, because Oz was one of those kind of shows where you had the Italian gang and the Irish gang and the black gang.
Right.
The skinheads or whatever you want to call them. So it was like, you know, they used us every day. It was like a regular job every day.
Yeah.
And, some of my favorite memories on there. Well, you know, I was getting close to. I was not an extra. We were called featured extras. There's a difference. You know, extra is a guy walking in the background, but featured is when you're part of the clique. You know, we were like the Italian crew, me, Chuck Zito, Johnny Palumbo, or Anthony Palladino, all those guys. So, but some of my favorite memories of that show, I was going to have a big part on there, but there was an episode they were going to use me. You remember the episode when they were all singing and they had parts where they were all singing?
Yes. That's when I turned it off.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this? It was like Happy Days when he jumped the shark.
Yeah. And I was going to go up and sing an Italian song. Roger Reed directed that episode, the English actor who passed away. And he was going to have me go up there and I was going to sing an Italian song. But it didn't happen.
Right.
But there's so many good memories on there. You know, I had a lot of good times on there.
Yeah. What do you have coming up, Sal? Because I know we're pressed for time, and I just want to get your new stuff out. I know you have a movie coming out called King Lahiri, right?
Yeah, and I have a script right here. It's called Jiggle the Handle. The movie.
Jiggle the Handle. What is it about? A toilet?
Yeah, right there. Look. That's
about a toilet. So my wife says all the time when I go to the bathroom, she goes, "Jiggle the handle."
Yeah, that's the truth. It's got a lot to do with that. Because my character Tony, I'm in the bathroom taking a dump, and she walks in on me. Jiggles the handle. But anyway, yes, it's a pilot. That's what I wanted to say before. Your first show was the pilot.
Well, yeah, mostly for sitcoms, but no problem. That's fine.
We were supposed to start this already, but the lead actress, Christina James Walker, she's been having some problems with illness, but we're supposedly going to do it in the fall.
Awesome.
So, Tony, it's going to be a cool thing. I can't wait to do it, you know?
So before we go, Sal, who's the most famous person in your phone right now?
Oh my God, in my phone. Who could it's so many? Oh gosh, who do I got? Nile Rodgers, Robin Zander, Joelyn Turner, Peter Chris. I could go on and on.
All right, since I'm wearing my Kiss shirt, we're gonna go with Peter Chris.
Want me to call? Well, Peter hates the phone, so he just hates the phone. He doesn't have a cell phone.
All right, call somebody. Let's go. Let's see. You want to call somebody? You telling me to put you on the spot?
Let me see. Who are you gonna call? Let me go to my contacts. Who do we got? Christopher Atkins.
Oh, from the Blue Lagoon.
Yeah. Carlos Alomar. It goes on. There's a million numbers here.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. I was only kidding.
Oh, I thought you really wanted me to call.
Nah, I'm only kidding. Listen, Sal, I want to thank you for being part of the Rock Shop family. We were family before, but I want you to know I was honored for you to be the first interview. Here I am, 70 interviews later, a year later. I made it to a year. I mean, I interviewed Stephen Pearcy from Rat 2 days ago. I couldn't believe it, you know.
Really?
I have Mark Fauner coming on later. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy, you know. Sometimes I got to pinch myself. But I want to thank you so much. And as soon as your movie comes out, you're welcome back anytime. You know, keep in touch. And I really appreciate it.
Just one more thing before you go. I entered Can't Love Without You and 10 other songs in the American music, what's it called? The contest that's going on right now.
Oh, with Paul Stanley.
Right. So that's so you put in your votes, everybody.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. All right. I want to thank Sal Sirchia for coming on again. He was the first guest on the Rock Shop, and he won't be the last because we're still going strong. Thank you
Right.
very much, Sal.
Ready to do the next one. Love you, brother.
Love you too, bro. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 1-year anniversary of the Rock Shop with Ralph. This is my anniversary show. I have returning guests, and I have a couple of more coming. But right now, front and center, I have to introduce the legend himself from Grand Funk Railroad, Mr. Mark Farner.
Hey, good to be back. Happy
I'll at least do it.
anniversary, brother Ralph.
And Mark Fauner's American Band. I have to say that,
Yeah, man. I
right?
appreciate it. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
And below him, they're not brothers. They look the same, but they're not brothers. I have one of my favorite bassists of all time, and I really mean that, from Surgical Steel, Rat. We'll talk about that. No, most people don't know. And Badlands, we have, and his new band, Atomic Kings.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Greg Chaisson.
Yay.
Who is Maddie? Somebody named Maddie wants to come in the room. I don't know who that is. Let's let him in to see who it is. Who the hell knows? Is it Jim?
Maybe Jim's going by a different name these days.
I don't know. It says Maddie.
James Madison, Maddie.
I don't know. Let's see. Let's have some fun. I can always throw him out.
All
Who's
right.
Maddie?
Who the hell is Maddie?
Oh, they're not coming on.
That's my
That's Jim
daughter.
Crean.
I told you Jim changed his name to Maddie.
Yeah, it says
That's my
Maddie,
daughter.
Jim.
Yeah, that's my daughter.
There you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jim, just fix your camera so we can see you.
Is that better?
Up a little more. There you
Right there.
Right there is good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our third
There we
guest of
have
the evening for tonight, we have Buffalo Music Hall of Fame member, lead singer of the Appice Brothers. They say Appice, I say Appice Brothers. Lead singer of Hand Nation and solo artist, Mr. Jim Crean. How you doing, Jim?
Hi, guys.
Hey, Jim.
Jim, now we're going to be playing 6 Degrees of Separation with the Rock Shop because here's how we do it. Jim did shows with Mark in upstate New York, correct? You did some shows with Mark Farner, correct, Jim?
Yeah. Over the
Right.
summer, yeah.
All right.
You guys got to know. And below, this is Greg Chaisson. Jim recorded one of Greg's songs from Badlands the last time on his solo album.
An excellent
Yeah.
job, by the way.
Yes.
Thanks, brother.
So there you go. Anyway, no disrespect to you two guys on the bottom, but I have to start with the legend himself. I want to say something right now. Grand Funk, not in the Hall of Fame. Travesty.
Yeah,
Travesty.
I agree.
that's what I heard.
Yeah, horrible.
Right, Mark?
That's right. And, there's a lot of people that should be. And if it was an honest, according to the fans, according to numbers, according to popularity, we'd have been there a long time ago. But as you know, it is a political machine. It's some bullshit coming down, just like a whole lot that's coming down in the world.
Right. How many records did Grand Funk sell, Mark? Total.
Let me count. 1, 2.
Take your shoes off.
Yeah,
I've
Yeah.
got an abacus.
a lot.
Right.
And
I mean,
it's-
when you talk influence on bands out today, many people say Grand Funk and your guitar work, not just your singing, your guitar work, and you wrote 90% of their songs.
92.
92%. Right. The gentleman below you, Greg Chaisson, is all giddy because he told me how much of a Grand Funk fan he is. So go ahead, Greg. The floor is yours. There he is. He's right above you.
Well, I'll tell you, my first favorite band of all time when I started getting into records was Grand Funk. My sister had On Time and the Red album. and I would listen to him after school every day, and just became a huge Grand Funk fan. Interesting sidebar, I was such a Grand Funk fan, I was at a party and some guy came up and said, "Yeah, I hear you're into Grand Funk." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, Mark Farner's good, but he's no Eric Clapton." So I beat him up. And actually, you and I talked on the phone in the early 90s. I had a solo deal on Frontline Records and through Matt Duffy. And I was doing a Badlands song, or a song I wrote while I was in Badlands, and I didn't think I could sing it. And he asked me, he said, "Well, who would you have sing it if you could have anyone?" And I said, "Mark Farner," because my inspiration for the song was Heartbreaker.
Oh, man.
And so he said, "Well, we can make that happen." And he got you on the phone, and the three of us talked. And you were going to sing two songs on my record and submit a song. And I was going to play two songs because I kind of play like Mel on your upcoming record, but your schedule got busy and mine got busy and it just never happened. But that would have been a big thrill for me, having you sing a song that I wrote. So
Right on, brother. Well, here we are 30 years later.
there you go.
Mark, do you, I mean, you got to get that a lot. I mean, when people hear you, see you, they tell you how much of an influence you are on them, because you're a legend in the business. I mean, are you humble about it? Do you like it? Are you just like, shucks, you know?
Yeah, well, I think I'm humble about it because that's what I purpose in my heart. You know, I'm a child of the Most High God, and God is love, brothers. And that's where I'm coming from. That's where we all came from. Which, you know, you get down inside our hearts, we're some pretty nice little shits down in there. Seriously, each one of us. But we're all playing our role in this life. You know, we're all actors on the scene. And I'm glad to have lived through the part of rock and roll that I have. I never claimed to be the greatest guitar player in the world. I always wanted to be, but there's guys that shred and play the shit out of that thing. I'm more of a, you know, I'll let it sing its little song, my leads, or, you know, I Come Tumbling. That was on the E Pluribus Funk. A lot of people love that song. And, you know, Sin's a Good Man's Brother. That's another one that a lot of people have covered. I didn't realize. And then finally, a friend of mine sent me all these different YouTube things of different people doing Sin's a Good Man's Brother. And the latest one was this kid that's he's in his 20s. I forget his name, King. His last name is King. But anyway, he did it, tore it up. And a lot of people have, you know, cut their teeth on my guitar playing. And I just think it's simple melodic stuff that people can learn. I thank God that I got that shit. You know, I'm passing on.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just doing my part, brother. And
yeah,
we're all doing our part.
But before I get to Jim, I want to say one thing. Most people don't know this, but let's see if you guys know it. It was Mark who came up with the drum intro to We're an American Band. Yes or no, Mark? And the cowbell.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm a drummer and I love cowbell. I mean,
all right.
You know, so most people think, can I say his name?
Yeah, man.
Most people thought it was Don Brewer, but it was Mr. Fauner that came up. Because don't forget, he wrote 90% of the lyrics and the music, correct?
That's right.
All right. Let's give credit where credit's due.
When I said to Brewer, this song needs a cowbell, I said, it really is. It's begging for a cowbell. He said, dude, I don't have a cowbell. I said, well, you're going to have to get a cowbell because this thing has to have a cowbell. It just has to. He says, okay, I'll pick one up on the way to rehearsal tomorrow. I said, pick up 6. And we will pick up the one that's closest, that matches the key of D. And it doesn't go tink, tink, tink. It goes kank, kank, kank. That's the one. And so he brought 6 to rehearsal and we picked it. And when I showed him the drum lick, I was hearing it in my head, you know. And I said, no, it's got to be on the bass drum. That
Right.
yeah, he says, are you shitting me? That'll wear myself out. I said, are you kidding me? You're the best. I kept saying, you can do this, man. Are you kidding me? Don't tell me you can't do that. I said,
Right. Now,
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
we're listening to history right here. Because how can you imagine that song without cowbell?
No,
I mean, really, this is the man who
Made
said
it.
put the cowbell in there. You know, we hear that song every friggin' every other minute it's on some radio station. I mean, Jesus. But Jim, how you doing, Jim?
Yeah, bro.
Jim is a return.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Jim is a phenomenal vocalist. He's a Buffalo Music Hall of Famer. Jim, I hear some rumblings about some new music. What are you doing with some new music going? What's going on with you?
Always doing stuff, you know that.
I know. And I'm trying to get that guy next to you, right there. That guy with the hat on.
Ah,
I'm trying to play what do you call it? A matchmaker.
we both have hats on. So you better get us both
yeah,
on.
I'd say
This guy.
okay.
And these guys look like brothers.
As a
Sorry,
matter-
Mark. Sorry, Mark.
yeah.
What do you got? What do you got going on, Jim, as far as music?
Me and Vinny Appice have a new album coming out. It's gonna be pretty cool. You got it. I sent it to you. You're the only one that has it.
I heard it. Yeah, it's very, very dark. It's more of the Dio vein. The darker Dio vein, like Strange Highways ish, around 94, maybe 90 to 94, right?
Yeah.
When are we coming out? You're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about the whole album. Maybe you just give a little brief description and when you think it's gonna be out.
January. We already have the album cover done, so it should be ready in January.
Awesome. We don't have a title yet.
Yeah, it's called Kill the Beautiful. So it's heavy. You know, it's really Dio Sabbath. Like it could probably be follow up to Holy Diver. It's that.
That's not something that you would have named one of your albums, right?
No, it's a little heavier than what I'm used to, but you know, Vinny is the metal god, so he wanted to make a heavy album.
Yes.
And Mark, I talk to Carmine, you know, every day, and he said he talks to you a lot too. As a matter of fact, I was on the phone with him the other day, and you were texting him back and forth. He goes, I gotta take this text from Mark. So yeah, he says hello.
Oh, so you're good friends with the Carmine Appice, Mark?
Very good. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We're buddies for a long time, and we're brothers in Christ.
That's true.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Cool.
very much so. Are you
Great.
going to a 75th on Saturday?
Sorry.
Are you going to a 75th on Saturday in Florida?
No, I'm going to be here in northern Michigan blowing snow on Saturday.
Yeah.
Greg, I want to ask you, Greg. Most people know you from Badlands, which I
gotta say, great band. Great.
absolutely
Thank you.
one of the best debut albums of all time. From 89 to 92, they were one of the bands, and I said this to Greg, that got shafted, that they should have been huge. You know, that album is one of the best debut albums of all time. And I have to say, and I go down to my grave saying this, Greg is one of my favorite bass players. He has a distinctive way of playing, a distinctive bass tone that Geezer Butler, Tony Franklin, Billy Sheehan, and Greg Chaisson. I can tell any song that they play on right away. So there you go, Greg. But here's what I want.
Pretty good company to be in, so I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And here's what I want to ask you. What most people don't know, well, I got to stop saying that, because there's probably people going, we know that, Ralph, you
already know.
You friggin' idiot. You were security for Rat before he was in Rat for a brief time, but you were security for Rat, right?
They offered me to be the head of their security.
See, I didn't know that, but I found that out. Go ahead.
I didn't take the job because I didn't want to be known as, if I was going to go audition for a band, I didn't want someone to say, well, isn't that like Rat's head of security? Can he actually play? Because you know how people get kind of an impression of what someone is. And the other thing is, if you're getting a job in security, if you're known as that guy, sometimes it's hard to play with other musicians because you can be relatively intimidating because of having done that job.
Right.
And I didn't think that was probably good for my career either.
Yeah, and when you were in Rat for the brief period of time, which songs were you involved with?
We were actually they were writing for the debut record.
Were they still Mickey
releasing-
Rat?
Well, we were working on Round and Round at the time. That's when I first came in there. That's the first song they started playing, and it wasn't finished yet. And then they had a couple shows that I was going to do with them, and so we were learning stuff off the EP, Back for More, and all that stuff. And I don't remember exactly what's on that the EP, but we were learning that, and then some new material. So as I told you before, I ended up getting pneumonia a short time into the band, and they had shows coming up, so I couldn't do them. So they got another bass player, Joey Cristofanelli, who I
an Irish guy. Yeah, I know him.
He might be from Buffalo. I know
Yes, he's from Buffalo.
Yeah, great guy, great bass player. And they got him. He ended up being in the band. The caveat always was when I got the gig is that if Juan Crocier wanted to leave Dokken and come back to Rat because he'd played on the EP, then I would lose the gig. Well, when Rat got their deal, Juan did in fact leave Dokken and go back to Rat, so I would have lost the gig anyway.
Right. Wow.
Which probably wouldn't have made me happy.
Exactly. I got a question for you about Ozzy. I want to get up to Mark. We're going to go around. I'll go back to Jim. Mark, what are your memories of that famous Shea Stadium gig? They sold out Shea Stadium in, what was it, 72 minutes, 55,000 tickets?
71 hours. It was faster than the Beatles. But this was before there was any electronic ticket sales.
Right.
They sold every ticket at the ticket office at Chez. They camped out on the lawn, and I remember seeing pictures that they ran in the New York Times of the fans camping out just so they could be the first ones to get in to the show. And you know, I wrote all the music for that show. This was before Brewer had started writing music. And for me, as the songwriter, I have to tell you, that encouraged me more than anything else, because when they started singing "I'm Your Captain" back to me, you know, Chez was in a semicircle. It was in a shape.
Oh, I've been there many times. I'm a Met fan. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And the focal point of that semicircle was second base, dude. And that's where the stage was set up. So when they started singing, holy shit, man, it overcame the PA system. It overcame the PA system. And I'm like trying to sing with this softball stuck right here in my throat. I'm like, oh my God, this pinched me. And just as I'm telling you this, I got goosebumps on me right now.
Wow. That's amazing. That's part of rock and roll history. What was one of your most...
I was such a Grand Funk fan. I would have probably walked to Shea Stadium from Arizona, because I never got to see Grand Funk as a three-piece. By the time I saw you guys in Tucson, you had Frost and Freddie King opened up. But I would have walked there on my knees. That's how big a Grand Funk fan I am.
God bless you, Greg. Thank you, brother.
Hey, Jim, let me ask you, you play with two legendary drummers, two brothers, Carmine and Vinny. What's the difference between Carmine and Vinny? Like when you're singing a song, how the feel? Like I sing and I play the drums. I'm not even in your league, but what do you feel is different between Carmine and Vinny? The feel, or however you want to say it.
Carmine's more of a groove type, pocket type drummer, and Vinny's more of a power drummer. That's really that simple. And then to put them together, because the show we do is unique because they both play at the same time. So it's
crazy.
It's the most unique show you'll ever see.
Nobody does anything like it.
No. So it's pretty cool. So we do all the hits, all their hits from their career, like the Rod Stewart. We do some Sabbath, Dio, Blue Murder, all their career hits, but we do them our own way with two drums. Mm-hmm. So at times it can be really chaotic, but at times it could be really technical. So it's pretty cool. But listen, I've been with them 10 years, and the first year it took, shows I would be like, okay, what's going to happen tonight? And we didn't know. So we get up there and we just didn't know, we rehearsed, but when, as you guys all know, when you rehearse, that doesn't really mean anything. Cause once you hit the
That's
stage,
right.
timing's gone and everything's different. Arrangements are different. So you guys know that. So when you hit the stage with these guys, we all look at each other like, okay, what are we doing? And the brothers would look at each other like, and in the beginning, they would, I was always the set singer, but we'd always get different guitar players and bass players in different cities, depending on, or countries, depending on where we were. But I was always the singer. So I'd kind of have to keep the bass player and guitar player in check, kind of say, hey, look at this, what they're going to do. Like that used to how they play.
Right.
But to go back to your question, Carmine, Carmine's got that crazy, just that kind of funk off time kind of swagger. And Vinny's got more of just a power straightforward, but man, when he hits it, you feel it right here. So you put them two together, it's amazing. Right.
Speaking of Carmine, he played in Ozzy's band, and Greg auditioned for Ozzy.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I know we spoke about it before, Greg, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. I don't like to do it. But it's great stories, and you want to just talk a little bit about the audition and the songs that you play, because that's how you met Jake.
Yeah, I mean, when I got there, Randy Castillo was the drummer, and I didn't know
That was the
Carmine
Ultimate Sin album, right?
Yeah. And so I didn't know Carmine at the time. I do now, but I didn't know him then. And they flew me up to Scotland, and I learned all the stuff off the previous 3 Ozzy records, thinking that we would play some of it. We didn't play any of it. They were just writing all new songs for the Ultimate Sin, but Ozzy didn't show up for I was there for about a week before, 5 days before Ozzy even showed up. So Jake and I and Randy Castillo would just sit in there and jam, and it wouldn't be any particular song. Jake is a huge fan of jamming, so he would just make up a riff, and then between the 3 of us, we would just take it in whatever direction, he wanted to go in or we wanted to go in. And so we could spend a whole night, 3 hours of just jamming on different ideas and riffs. And to the best of my knowledge, the whole record, as far as other than Shot in the Dark, was already written. And then by the time Ozzy got there, we just kept recording the songs that were going to be on the record. They had a 48 channel studio at this place we were at up in Inverness, and they recorded every night. So it was kind of like playing on the record before the record was actually recorded. And I ended up not getting the gig. Obviously, Ozzy didn't think I had the right image for MTV.
You mean Sharon? You mean Sharon?
Well, him and Sharon, and wasn't cute enough. I wasn't cute enough for the gig.
Yeah.
And Ozzy said I looked like Charles Bronson in The Mechanic, and I thought,
did you have the mustache?
No, I didn't actually at the time, but I had the whole, I had the whole rock image and stuff. But I didn't get the gig. But Jake and I ended up becoming really good friends, and and I got to go to Scotland for 3 weeks with Ozzy. Let me just say, Jake is a huge Mark Farner fan, a huge Grand Funk fan. And we used to play as an encore, Aimless Lady and I Come Tumbling.
All right.
So on different nights, whatever it was, we also played, Evil by Cactus and War Pigs or Purple Haze or 4-Day Creep by Humble Pie. So there were a lot of different. Grand Funk could have been the greatest cover. Badlands could have been the greatest cover band of all time, because we never played our songs in soundcheck. We just played covers. So any given night, he might just start some song as an encore, and we better know how to play it, which fortunately we did.
Right now, and just everybody knows this, Jake wrote the whole album and never got publishing.
For Ozzy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he wrote all of Bark at the Moon. He wrote all the music to that. Bob Daisley wrote the melody lines.
And they screwed Bob as well.
Yeah, Bob has been screwed, blued, and tattooed by Ozzy and Sharon.
I'm gonna get back.
Everyone that's ever played with them has been. It's
I'm gonna get. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna get back to Jim, but I got to tell. Speaking of screwed, this is a good segue. Mark, you know what I'm gonna ask you, right? You know what I'm gonna ask you. Was it true that? Well, I got to give Mark my Homer Simpson impression again. You ever see The Simpsons when they talk about Grand Funk?
Oh yeah.
You don't know about Grand Funk Railroad, the shirtless antics of Mr. Mark Farner, the bone rattling bass of Mr. Mel Shocker, Oh, the confident drummer, Mr. Don Brewer. Anyway, is it true that they told you to sign this? You didn't even read it. You thought it was something else, and you gave up your shares or name. You can't use the name Grand Funk Railroad.
Yes, I was told that we all had to sign our individual ownership of the trademark Grand Funk Railroad into the corporation where it would have some kind of protective umbrella. I didn't finish high school, brothers, and the drummer had gone to law school and learned just enough, I guess. This is what lawyers do. The ones that I know of do it a lot. But anyways, I said, you know, it was after a gig. We had a few drinks at the party, and then we went back to the hotel room, and I'm sitting there by myself in my room, and the knock, 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 and Don comes in and he breaks this news to me. And I thought about it. I said, well, you know, you gone to law school. You're looking out for the best interest of the band, obviously. So yeah, I'd do that. I'd sign it. He says, okay, I'll be right back. I'll go get the papers. They're in my room. And I'm thinking, well, why didn't he just bring the papers with him? You know, and it didn't dawn on me till I got the calls and they told me that I was no longer an officer in the corporation and that they were going to go out and tour and that they're telling me that I'm going to go out and tour, and I'm going, what? Wait, stop. What has happened here? And it didn't really sink in until I was in a federal courtroom, and then Brewer and his attorneys there put a permanent injunctive order against me that I could no longer use Mark Farner of Grand Funk Railroad. I could no longer.
Guys, you getting this? Is anybody learning anything here?
You're not allowed to use Mark Farner of Grand Funk Railroad?
That's
Exactly.
right. Yeah.
It's terrible.
Because the other two guys, you know,
This guy is Grand Funk.
There's three guys in the corporation, and 2 out of 3 is the vote, and that's a majority. And it doesn't matter if I wrote all the music. What they did is it's just too bad. It's dishonest, and there's so many bands that go out. I was talking with Gunnar Nelson. He was being a guest DJ in Cleveland, and he called me up. David Spiro was on the phone with us, and he said, Farner, man, do you know that there's 126 groups, all call themselves the Platters? I said, you're shitting me. He says, no, dude, one guy owns the trademark and he licenses this 126 other bands that go out and play and give him a cut every time they play. And I'm going, man, that's crooked as a pan of guts, you know? And there's a lot of bands that go out that couldn't be anything more than a tribute band, but they call themselves the name of the original band. And it's just a crying shame because the fans are getting screwed. They're getting lied to, and they're not getting the real deal. But people like that, they don't give a shit about the fans. They just give a shit about the money and keep their, I don't know. I'm not an ego-driven person. I do have an ego, but I keep that son of a bitch in check.
I got
Well,
you.
there's a movement online that I'm part of, and it goes something like this. It goes exactly like this: no Farner, no funk.
Exactly.
So, where I would walk on my knees from Phoenix to Chez Stadium to see Grand Funk, I wouldn't walk across the street to see whatever that thing that they float around is, because the fact that you're still around and aren't part of it just makes no sense to me. And again, you wrote 95% of the music. You should be in part of it. I don't know what Brewer's problem is. And I was actually surprised that Mel went along with that. I don't know him, but it just didn't seem like, from what I do know of him, that he would be part of that. But you got screwed, but I totally support what it is you do beyond anything that they would even come up with. So
I want to ask Jim one more. You want to say something, Jim?
Well, I just want to test when we did the shows with Mark over the summer in Batavia and I don't know if you recall, but you guys were on your A game, so you still got it. So anybody that
Brother
goes
Jim.
and sees you play, listen,
Absolutely.
they're getting Grand Funk. I mean, that's a fact.
So I
So
want to ask Jim one more question, and then we're going to talk about new music. And I have another guest that's just going to pop in for a minute. Jim, I try to get out of Carmine new music and Vinny new music from Appice. What's the status of that band and what's going on? Please tell me. These guys made a phenomenal album. Jim sang on 4 of the tracks, and they were the 4 of the best tracks. And I told those guys. So I mean, what's the status of that band? What's going to happen?
well, I mean, we are writing new songs. Carmen and I have been, nowadays you can write songs and send them back and forth via files, which is cool. So me and him been doing a lot of that. And we have some great songs. It's just a matter of getting the band together to record them. And we have a deal on the table waiting for it. So it's just a matter of getting this stuff recorded. This time it's, like you said, this time it's no guests. It's just going to be the band.
Right.
Yeah.
And I, this, I told them that. I said that.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking the other vocalists. All I'm saying is, listen, guys, everybody has been on the show. You should know I'm very forthright, and I'll tell you like it is. And I said that it should be just you as the singer in the band.
Listen, there were some great singers.
Absolutely, there was.
Robin McCauley.
Well, I mean, Macaulay, yeah, you had
Sal
Chet.
Sirchia was on there. A bunch of guys. Chez West. A lot of my friends are on that record. Don't get me wrong. Fantastic singers and just great musicians all the way around. I mean, we had that album was star-studded. But this time, I think we want to just do the record, us in the studio, because we did that live album that was out, and that was cool, and it did really well. So we want to do just a studio with the real band. So
Awesome. We're going to come back to you guys and talk about new music. I just want to let we got some young blood coming in. I want you guys to meet her. She's from England. Her name is Chez. She's coming on.
Young blood.
Yes. Where is she?
I'm here.
Oh, there goes the accent. She makes fun of my accent. I make fun of hers. There she is.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, a returning guest to the Rock Shop with Ralph on our 1-year anniversary show. Her debut album charted in 4 countries. 27 in the US, 17 in Sweden, 65 in Germany, and 8 in her homeland of the United Kingdom. Let's welcome Frontiers SRL recording artist back to the show, Chez.
Woo!
Chez, do you know who you're in this room with? Let me tell you.
Could you tell us?
I'm going to tell you because these guys, I got to pinch myself sometimes. I love all these guys. On the left, you have the legend from Grand Funk Railroad, Mr. Mark Fauner, at the top.
Hey.
Right below him, you have his twin brother. No, I'm only kidding. Right below him, you have the legendary bass player from the band Badlands. He was in Rat. Oh, I interviewed Stephen Pierce the other day, by the way.
Wow.
Greg, Mr. Greg Chaisson, and his new band is called Atomic Kings. We're going to talk about that in a minute. To my right, you have my buddy, who's the lead singer for the Appice Brothers and Hair Nation, and a solo artist, and he should be on Frontiers. I got to talk to Serafino about him, Mr. Jim Crean.
I checked you out the other day because you told me to go and check him out, and I did. It's absolutely awesome voice.
thank you. You as well.
Jim, do you hear this? You see, I'm working for everybody here.
You are. You're plugging everyone all over the world.
Listen, I'm from Queens, New York, and I'm loyal. If you guys are in my circle, and Greg knows this, I'm always commenting on him. Jim knows it. Mark, forget it. I could be kissing his ass all day long because he knows how much of an influence he is on me, and how much the fans loved my interview with him. No disrespect to you guys. All I get was, Ralph, how the hell did you interview Mark Farner? How did you interview Mark Farner? And I'm like, I called his publicist and I got it, But Chez, how are you doing, my little sweetie? I'm so
good.
proud of you. So proud of you. Where you've come from the beginning of the show, a year into the show. You were one of my first, not the first, but in the first round of interviews. And how far you've came. she just recorded a song with Mr. Jim Peterik from Survivor and Ides of March. I'm your vehicle, baby.
Yeah.
That's really surreal. That just came out of nowhere. It's crazy. But before we go on, I just want to congratulate you on your 1-year anniversary show. Woo!
Thank you, Chez. And by the way, it's 1:30 in the morning where she is. Right?
Hey, I wouldn't stay up this late for many people, Ralph, okay?
All right. Thank you very much. Listen, these guys here, okay, when they're up at 1:30 in the morning, there were a lot of bad things were happening back in the day. Myself included.
They're still happening now.
Yeah, myself included. You know, right, Mark?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yes. So,
I
Chez.
bet you guys have loads of stories.
Yeah. You wait until you go back to the interview, listen to some of the stories, and hire a good lawyer. That's all I got to tell you.
Some that could even be said on this show.
Yes. So, Chez, real quick, we're starting to talk about new music. I'm going to go around. What's happening with you? I know you're working on your second album.
Yeah, so I've just started doing the demos for the second album. We're further ahead than we thought we would be at this point, so we should be going into recording it properly very, very soon. And I have my first show in 5 days.
Yes, thank God.
Yay, finally.
Yeah, thank God. Well, they've been playing out. Mark is going back to touring in 2022. Greg has his band. He's recording his second album. We're going to talk about all about this stuff. I'm going to be going around. But yeah, I'm so happy for you, Chez. I mean, you know, to be a part of your ascend, I should say. You know, it's touching. It really is, because I see the success you're getting, and you know, you're on a label. And I told Chez this when Jim, you got to listen to this. I told her if Joe Elliott and Pat Bennett, she loves this. If Joe Elliott and Pat Benatar had a love child, this is her right here, because that's her voice. She's got a phenomenal voice. You guys gotta hear it. I mean, I know Jim heard it because I turned him on to her. I said, you got to check this girl out.
Great stuff.
Thank you.
We're gonna come full circle because Jim releases solo albums. He has tons of guest stars: Mike Tramp, Phil Lewis, Carmine Appice, Vinny Appice, Frank Domino. You know. So many people, and I was telling Greg about maybe, you know, intertwining, possibly. Chez can get in there, and I'm sure Jim wouldn't mind having Mr. Farner there. You know, I mean, Jesus Christ, who would? I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, Mark.
No, man.
Yeah. You know, who wouldn't want Mark Farner on there? But anyway, yeah. So we got to talk to Serafino about all you guys. You're signed already. These guys aren't signed. But yeah, I thank you so much for coming back, Chez. So now, Greg, I want to talk about your new band, Atomic Kings. Where do we stand with that? I know you have a new vocalist. You had the previous vocalist, but your new vocalist is Ken Ronk.
Ken Ronk, great singer. What happened is we were called Kings of Dust. We fired our singer. And then he sued us.
Oh wow!
For the name of the band, and
a lot of drama on this show today.
Yeah, so rather than, you know, even though I came up with the name and the primary resume in that particular band was mine, we decided let's just give him the name. We'll change the name to Atomic Kings. We got a new singer, Ken Ronk, great singer, great sings. Actually, he kind of has a Paul Rogers meets Mark Farner, even sounds a little bit like Ray Gillen in his voice, which obviously appeals to me. We have a dozen songs written for the debut record of Atomic Kings. The material is very 70s, similar to you know, the first record, or the Kings of Dust record.
Yes.
Very 70s, a lot of moving parts, a lot of influences. We wear our influences on our sleeve, and we should be doing that record. I thought we were going to record in December, but I think we're going to wait till January. I have a guitar store, so I'm real busy with that in December. So I think we will be recording in January and hope to have it out by sometime in March.
Awesome. Let's give them a plug. Bizarre Guitar in Phoenix.
Bizarre Guitar and Drum in Phoenix, Arizona.
There you go. Mark, guys, I got to tell you, if you want to bring a tear to your eyes, you got to hear the latest single from Mark called Never and Always. Mark, I'm telling you, and I really mean this. it's such a touching song. My take is it's about homeless veterans. Is that a?
Yeah, it's about, because our imagination needs to be exercised. We watch too many damn videos, music videos that tell.
We're in our phones all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back when I'm Your Captain came out, there was no videos at all. And people had their own definition. It's kind of like when somebody reads a book and then they go to see a movie and they go, man, that movie sucked. The book was a lot better. It's because our imagination is that much better, and it needs to be exercised. And I think that it's taken us away from our sweet spot as human beings. Too much video stuff. That the video that was done to Never and Always was done in Santiago, and
Chile.
It was the guy who owns Abismo Films, Carlos. He came and he said, "Man, I see stuff." I said, "Well, yeah, man." He said, "I'm going to just do this because I love you and I love this song, and I'm going to send you this video that I have a concept of." And when he sent it, dude, I cried. I said, shit, he's getting all over, he really brings a lot. And during this time that we are in right now, it touched a lot of hearts. And people are, they're just tired of being alone, tired of being by themselves, isolated, need to bust out with that love. And our community, ever since 1996, the deregulation of the FCC and the corporations started taking over the listening to our, the music that we listen to is programmed by some guy sitting over in a city, programming for 4,500 radio stations across the nation. And it's been sterilized. It really has. We've kind of lost touch with our community, our rock community. And Ralph, it was the DJs back at WNEW, and they held us together. These guys,
Community.
Yeah, absolutely. And they held us together in the community because I don't know what they were doing. They were smoking dope or something and coming on and and playing lawn cuts. It was FM, no commercials, and we loved that shit. But the corporations took over, and it's like they feed you the pablum. They feed you the pablum, but really, we're not getting to the heart of the matter. And let me just say one more thing, Brother Ralph. You said
I love how he calls me Brother Ralph.
You said Jesus Christ, and then you apologize for it. But you could say, God damn it. It's not, I'm telling you, it's superstitious to think anything else, because the Bible says, thou shalt not take the Lord thy God's name in vain. And if you look that up in the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, you will see that the word take is like a woman takes her husband's name, not using it, not saying God damn it or Jesus Christ. Let's clear the air. That's superstition. So let's get rid of the superstition.
Well, Mark, my woman takes a lot more than my name, believe me. Especially when we go shopping. And she carries something in a purse of mine, and it's not my wallet.
You're saying that
Cover your ears, Chez.
you're saying as long as you don't say that you are God or Jesus yourself, then it's okay to use it.
You can say it because it's just words. You're not, you didn't, taking the
Again.
word is like taking Christ in vain. But how the hell are you going to do that? Really? Seriously. Billy Preston and I had this conversation because he's had the same kind of reaction as Brother Ralph did. And he went, oh man, shit, I didn't mean to say that. Then I said, dude, the word says, and I explained it to him, just like I explained to you guys, if you look it up, it's not using the Lord's name in vain. It's taking, like when you say you're a Christian and then you misrepresent what a Christian is. Well, a Christian is somebody who follows Christ, and Christ is love, unconditional love, laid down his life so we can all, when we exit these bone suits, thank you, Jesus, we're going home. Every fucking one of us.
Gotcha. Jim, I interviewed Steven the other day. You're doing 2 shows with Stephen Piercy from Rat. December 3rd and December 4th, this Friday and Saturday, correct?
Correct. But Mark, you rock, man. I just want, yes, that I am.
Yes.
But Mark, you rock, dude.
Well, I was going to say that at the end of the interview anyway.
He's
I'm
cool.
just trying to, yeah. Mark,
Cool.
I mean, if you don't leave this interview so uplifted, there's something wrong
Nice,
with
cool.
us. I'm telling you,
He's
that
a real
last-
deal, man.
the last
guy's a-
interview I had with Mark, I thought I could walk on hot coals afterwards. I was ready to go like this, you know.
He's the real. You're the real deal, brother.
Mark,
You're the real deal.
and
Absolutely.
listen, these guys know me, and I'm telling you, I don't. You said I could curse, so I don't blow smoke up your ass. I'm being serious. I thought I could do all that, you know. I'm like, it's like when I was a kid and I saw Rocky. I thought I could beat the shit out of everybody when I came out of the movie theater. I'm like, yeah, man, forget it. I'm ready to go.
I want Mark before we go on stage. I'm gonna fly Mark into all my gigs and just pump me up before I hit the stage, man. I'm my motivational speaker, man. But
Yes.
yeah, back to your.
So the 3rd and the
all you
4th.
guys are.
Yes, I mean everybody here is awesome. I wish I had enough time
No,
to.
what a great group you got here.
You know,
Ralph.
I try to keep it. You know,
Great group.
look at the
But yeah.
difference in all of us. You know.
Yeah, it's cool.
You got a chubby Italian. Let me just say it. Now I'm going to talk now because I've been quiet the whole interview. I got a chubby Italian kid from Queens, New York. You got a legend that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame from Flint, Michigan. You got another legend who got screwed over more times than anybody in Greg and had one of the best debut albums of all time and one of the best bass players I know. Okay. You have one of the best vocalists I know who should be 10 times bigger than what he is. And I'm not afraid to say that, but he's big enough that he's released 9 solo albums. Then you have he's working on it. Then you have an English girl, an up and comer who's getting ready to release her 2nd album. So that we can't be more diverse than what we have. Anyway, now that I said that,
It's a beautiful
Jim, December 3rd and December 4th, you're playing with Stephen Piercy from Rat. I gave the locations. They're on my page. One of them's a free show, and the other one is at the show place, correct?
Yep, that's gonna be fun. Steve, a good friend of the band, and we did a bunch of shows with Rat, and so it's gonna be a lot of fun, you know. And then next week we're out with Dokken and Lynch, and then I'm doing a show here in my hometown with Billy Sheehan. We do this Christmas thing every year. It's called Musicians of Buffalo with a dear friend of mine, Jessie Galante, and
Yes, I know.
so she's big too in Europe and in Italy and stuff. We're doing a Christmas show.
And you did a duet with her.
I did, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I got a lot of cool shows coming.
Awesome. Chez, I'm back at you. You're working on your 2nd album. She works with Danny Rexon from the band Crazy Licks. You were supposed to do a show with him and he bowed out, correct?
Yes, unfortunately. So we were supposed to be doing a show together on Saturday, and it's my debut solo show. And it would have been really cool to do the show with Danny because obviously we did the album together. But unfortunately, one of the members have had a bit of trouble with family, so they had to pull last minute. So family comes first.
Yes. I mean, we just want to listen to you talk all night. Your accent is great. But let me.
Where's your debut show at, Chez?
I'm playing at the Corporation in Sheffield.
I'll be there.
Come on down. Come on.
I'm still waiting for her to come to the United States. I mean, I said
I'm
that.
still waiting.
Yeah. Her and Hardline with Johnny Gioeli, another label mate from Frontiers. I'm dying for them to get over to the States. You know, it's the state of the music business. And I tell them all the time, you know, people say, why don't you play here? Why don't you play there? Well, you got to support the artist. You know, you got to buy the tickets. You can't just go on YouTube and you know, listen to the music off of there. You have to buy the physical CDs. They don't realize that, you know, and that's a big factor. There's no money in making music anymore. It's all in touring and merchandise.
Well, they got you. They have you.
Very difficult.
They have you
COVID.
conditioned to think that you have to go on Spotify or do something like that, where someone who's not even a musician is making all the money. And guys like artists, and I'm sure Mark is more familiar with this than any of us. You're making a pittance for songs that you wrote over the whole life of your career, while some idiot who's just smart enough to figure out how to get it on the internet is making billions. So I mean, there's no money on the
Mark knows that.
Anymore.
I got 2 words for Mark: Terry Knight.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Right. I got you, Mark. See, I know it. I do my research. But Greg, do you guys, is Atomic Kings signed to a deal? Do you have a deal yet?
No, we don't have a deal. We were just kind of on our own, and we'll kind of figure something out. At one time we had talked to Frontiers, but because we're so 70s sounding,
right,
and it doesn't sound, well, it actually sounds similar to what I did in Badlands, but they wanted something that was more 80s sounding as opposed to what it is I do now. And that's fine. I mean, we kind of just are kind of going to go the Joe Bonamassa route here, where we try to keep everything in house. It's easier to control it that way. I have one question here before we move on. I got to ask Mark, and if I don't ask, the guitar player in Atomic Kings, Ryan McKay, is also a big Grand Funk fan. And while he and I both agree that the best Grand Funk record is E Pluribus Funk, and the second best record is the Red Album, I think the third best record is closer to home, but he thinks the third best record is Good Singing and Good Playing. And so I promised I'd ask you where that sits, because I don't really care for that record at all, but he wanted to know where that sits with you.
Well, because it contains the song "Don't Let Them Take Your Gun," which is the Second Amendment to the Bill of Rights, the Constitution of the United States. And when Zappa says, this is back when it was going on a 33 1/3, on an album. And he says, there's not room for all 15 of these songs, so we got to weed some out. He says, what about this? Don't Let Them Take Your Gun. I said, that one's not going. He's just, and I was very adamant about it. I just stood up in the control room. I said, that one is staying. And he said, well, why? I mean, and so I got to explain to him, and I actually read the Second Amendment right to him. And I said, do you understand what the word necessary means? Because it says that it is necessary for the freedom of state. This ownership of our firearms guarantees that there is a First Amendment and a third and a fourth and all the rest of the Constitution. Because I think you could ask Chez about gun ownership in England. There's no such thing. And I've seen YouTube videos where a lot of English people say they're encouraging the United States, please stay, armed. Don't become like we are, because there's nothing we could do. We can only raise our voices. And really, the power of the people is where it's going to come from here in the United States, even though because of the ownership changing hand in 1996, the corporations taking over, the people kind of lost our voice out of the say so, and out of what the news is reporting, out of even what the music is playing, except for, God bless you, Greg, keeping it in house. You guys can control what it is that you're saying, and don't let anybody step on your toes. But as far as good singing and good playing, I think the production on it is totally Zappa. Yep. And because it contains "Don't Let Them Take Your Gun," I can see why he thinks that is number 3.
There you go. Okay, good answer.
Awesome. Chez, he's talking about his favorite albums with Mark. We all have favorite albums. I'm going to tell you right now, the man above you, Mr. Jim Crean, has a gold album. It's called Insatiable. that was the one I think I turned you on to. He has all the guest stars on it, and listen to that album and the sound, the guitar sound, the drums, his vocals, and tell me that he should not be on Frontiers Records. Greg mentioned, listen, and I'm not just plugging him. I say this in a lot of interviews. I plug Greg because I love him. I plug Jim, Mark, you. His sound, I can picture you singing with him. I can picture Greg playing with him, and I can picture Mark guest starring, playing with him, whatever. So we're all one big happy family. We all got to do something together. And if you want me, I'll be the cover. Put me on the cover. We'll sell a lot of copies.
Yeah, you'll just be front row at the front rocking out.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's just like I said, his album. I'm plugging him again. His album Insatiable it's catered to your sound. Now, mentioning your second album. Are you writing with Danny Rexon again?
Yeah, we have been writing, but to be honest, Danny writes these songs so well that I don't really want to mess what we did the first time round. He's just too good at it.
Don't mess with the formula.
Don't mess with it.
I say this to Jim. Well, I said it to him a lot. You know, I love that Insatiable album, and I think that's the sound he should have. Now, of course, we as artists, we like to do different things. You know, take Mark, for instance, a song like I'm Your Captain. You know, that's one of his signature songs. Then he comes out with a song, Bad Time, you know, that had almost like a doo-wop intro to it, you know. my mother's favorite song. That's how I got turned on to Grand Funk. 1974, I'm sorry. 1975, biggest selling single of 1975, right, Mark?
It sold more. It got played more than
more. Right.
Yeah. I got a BMI plaque saying that it was played more than any other song in 1975, although it did not go to number one, but it got played more than the one that did.
Right. Take Greg, for instance. His band Badlands was short-lived. You know, they had one of the best, and I say this, one of the best debut albums in the Badlands album. But my favorite one was Dusk.
Mine
was the third. That was just, it was, anybody that's listening, it was just demos put together. They recorded them in one take. Ray Gillen, rest in peace, was just doing scratch vocals. He's just going, 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onion on a sesame seed bun. You know, he's doing that, and it turned out to be one of their best albums, in my opinion.
Half of that record he had lyrics for. The other half he was just coming up with them as we were still writing the songs. And the only reason that it was done so well is because we were getting ready to go on tour. So we were really well rehearsed. And we got a call saying, you got to go in the studio. We had to go to Goodnight LA, Keith Olsen's studio, and put down demos. Jake and I didn't even want to go. They had to convince us to go.
Right.
Jake was in a bad mood. So was I. We said, we'll do each song one time. It took Jake about 5 minutes to get a guitar sound, took me less to get a bass sound. The engineer was not happy. And we brought, as was our way, when we went on the road, Jake and I brought guns. And then we would go to shooting ranges or find places to go shoot. So when I met him in the studio, he was showing me a couple new guns he had bought. I was showing him a couple I had bought. I had a LAR Grizzly 45 Win Mag that I was showing him, and the engineer freaked out. And he said, what are you doing with all these guns in the studio? Well, we're just, talking about it. He goes, I can't possibly work with these guns going on. I said, too bad. So we tracked all those songs, and we did the whole thing was 45 minutes long enough to play each song one time from front to back. If there was a mistake, it stayed on, because we never thought it was going to be a CD. We thought, or a record, we thought it was just demos. Now, thank goodness we played so well and we were going on the road, because it's like a live record, which is why I like it so much. There's no overdubs. There's no rhythm guitar when the guitar solos are going on. It's just me and Jeff Martin picking up the slack, and Ray sang every take we ever did anyway. So he just sang regardless of whether he had words. And if you haven't heard it, check it out. It's called Dusk.
Absolutely. Going around, we're going to be ending this soon. I want to ask just a couple more questions for each of you. Chez, what's your favorite song to play live? It doesn't have to be your song. It can be any song. I know you do a lot of covers. You know what
Well,
my favorite song is of yours.
ask me again next week, but I got a feeling it's going to be the one that you like anyway.
Go ahead,
So I'm
say
gonna
it.
Okay,
let
what
Roth-
is it? What song
Midnight
is it?
Rendezvous.
Yes. You got to hear that song Midnight Rendezvous by her. It's first of all, you guys gotta just, I hate to tell you to go on YouTube, but you gotta, or you know, maybe I have a copy of her album. Email me. Her voice it's a mixture of Fergie and Jesus, as he
All
said in
right.
Step Brothers.
All right.
Is that a cover song?
No, these are her songs.
Okay,
that,
because I was
Danny
thinking
Rexon
Midnight-
wrote.
You were saying cover songs, and I know the Babies did Midnight Rendezvous.
Right.
No, that's
It's just a
right,
great
but
song.
that's
They
her
threw me a
song.
curveball there going
No,
into my
her-
baseball vernacular.
Her I told you, Pat Benatar and Joe Elliott. Her voice sounds like that's their love child right there. Chez Kane'd is their love child, and I mean that. She laughed so hard when I told her that the last time, and
Yeah, because they're the two people that I looked up to when I was like growing up. So
See
it was
that?
Def Leppard first, and then my sister got me hooked onto Pat Benatar, and I was just like, what?
I told you, Uncle Ralph knows music and he doesn't play games. I told you that.
100%.
Greg,
Yeah.
favorite song to play live?
Oh man. Well, probably something new off of the Atomic King. So there's so many songs to choose from. And since
Well, we don't
Ken-
know any of them, and I didn't get it.
I don't. I can't. I mean, I going back to something that someone would know. I mean, I enjoy playing High Wire. I enjoy playing Rumbling Train. Those are Badlands songs. I enjoy playing Shine On. A lot of that kind of stuff. So
Well, listen, I'm telling you right now, and I'm not afraid to say it. If you guys do a cover song together, he has to sing High Wire.
okay.
I'm telling you, he has the voice for it.
You know what? I knew.
Maybe
I
you
knew
could even get Jake to play guitar on it.
Yeah. Good luck.
You stay in contact with him?
Yeah, we text probably 3 or 4 times a week, but it's usually just about fluff. It's usually nothing. It's
It's
just
about cigarettes.
it's just whatever bullshit is on his mind and verse mine that we can make the other one laugh with. It's just
Awesome.
silly crap. I was gonna say, as far as Jim, you know, I knew who he was, but I hadn't heard that much stuff. And then my buddy Rick Fox played on a couple tracks on one. Was it on the Insatiable record?
No, London
London
Fog.
Fog. London Fog.
Yeah, and so because Rick was promoting that he'd played on it, I listened and then I went back and started listening to the other records. So you got the pipes, brother.
Thank you, man.
Yes, and that London Fog record is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Another phenomenal. Every one of his solo out, and I don't want to sound like I'm kissing his ass, but it's the truth. Everyone is phenomenal, but
It's
the
not
Insatiable,
ass kissing if it is the truth.
it's the truth. And I say this all the time. London Fog, I love. Insatiable is his career watermark. Check that album out. Mark, the legend. I'm sorry. What is your favorite song to play live? I know what you're gonna tell me.
Foot stomping.
Really?
Yeah.
Foot
Great
stomping.
choice.
Awesome. What do you think is the song you're most known for and your I should say your baby? Which one is that? Out of all your hits that you wrote?
I'm your captain.
I knew that one, Mark. That's mine. And everybody has a different take on what that song means.
Yes, man.
I told you the last time. I believe it's just about guys on a ship and the captain, he's losing. He's laughing, but Mark corroborated this. I believe it's about a mutiny on a ship.
But if that's what you get, I mean, Mark probably said
Exactly.
if that's what you get from it,
Right.
because everyone's going to get, we're all songwriters here.
Right,
Everyone's
right.
going to have their, as they listen to it, that's their take on it. And if that's what they get, then that's perfect. I mean, I'm
Exactly.
sure I'm speaking for everyone here. It's as long as someone gets something out of it,
Right. And that's what I got out of it.
even if they don't like it, as long as they get something, then we did our job.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
I
Mark.
have to say that I was talking to Jock, New York City, and he said they did a thing where they asked 100 people to write what their definition of the song "Bridge Over Troubled Water" by Simon and Garfunkel was. He said they got 100
Different answers.
diversely different. Not any two were even close.
Gotcha.
I
Jim?
I think that's the beauty of music anyway.
Jim,
Yeah.
what's your favorite song that you wrote to play live?
Well, kind of what the guys just said about songs being open to interpretation like that. And I love writing songs like that because you take it 10 different ways, and really whatever the feeling comes to you is what the song's about, really.
Yeah, buddy.
That's not my question. You didn't answer my question.
I'm gearing up for it. I'm trying to make a song better than what it is.
Listen, I'm not asking you to be freaking Carole King over here. I'm asking you what's your favorite song to play live.
Ralphie the Baker.
What the hell's all that shit? All of a sudden, you're being like Dion when he wrote Abraham, Martin, and John, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but Jim's answer was deep, and that's more important.
I know.
Yeah.
Jesus
Right.
Christ. Can you just say follow your heart for me, please?
I knew you would say that one because you love that one. He's called Ralphie will call me up and sing that song. Hilarious.
Chez,
He got
listen.
all the words wrong, but
Exactly. Well, and the funny thing is, this guy gets me tongue-tied. I know all the lyrics. I know every fucking lyric the guy writes. He tells me to sing it. I can't get the words out. I'm like, you know. But anyway, Chez, the song "Follow Your Heart" that he wrote, Rowan Robertson, who played with Dio on the Lock Up the Wolves album, plays guitar on it. And I'm like, follow your heart. Is this guy in love with this girl? He's like, Ralph, that song's about an alien invasion.
It is.
Like, what the fuck is this thing? Oh my God.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. But anyway,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jim.
But it's interpretation. I'm sorry to
It's
get deep,
interpretation.
but
It's getting deep now.
I'm
Now,
not
next
saying
time-
to play that.
Next
But-
time Jim goes on the interview, he's gonna have a beard. He's gonna have friggin' sandals on with white socks on. He's gonna be a fucking hippie, this guy now. Anyway, guys, we've come to the end of my 1 year anniversary show. You
God
guys were
bless.
the featured guest. I thank you so much. But I want to plug the legend, Mr. Mark Fauner. He has a DVD out called From Chile with Love. And I got to tell you, the last time he was on, I did a live stream. I had people tuning in from Chile on my show.
Cool.
That's how much influence this man has, Mark. And I really mean that. You're a huge influence on people. You're a role model, and you're a legend, and you should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I hope,
God bless you. Thank you.
I know
Great.
there's hell will probably freeze over if you get back together with those guys. But listen, we're not getting any younger, all of us. We'd love to see that. I don't know how your thoughts are on it. I'm not even going to ask you, but I'm just telling you what we would like to see. And I thank you wholeheartedly for coming on the show, Mark. From Chile with Love is his DVD. Mr. Jim Crean has a new album coming out. It's called Kill the Beautiful. It's going to be on Dark Knight.
No,
Oh,
it's
no,
actually
that's Sleazy Rider Records. I'm sorry. Sleazy Rider Records
out of Athens, out of Greece. Yeah.
out of Greece. And Mr. Greg Chaisson has the new band Atomic Kings, and they're getting a record deal. The album will be out sometime in 2022. We're keeping our fingers crossed. I thank him for coming on. And my niece, Miss Chez Kane,
All
down
right.
there, she's signed to Frontiers SRL Records, and her second album will be coming out in 2022, Chez?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
It should be around an early summer release, I think.
early summer release. And in the meantime, you could get her first debut album on frontiers.it. And she has a song on Jim Peterik, the guitarist from Survivor, Survivor World and World Stage is the name of his new band. The CD, now I'm getting
Tigress.
tongue-tied.
The album's
Jesus
called Tigress.
You sound like you're singing "Follow Your Heart."
Yes,
That's how you
yes,
sing it.
yes, yes, yes.
There you go.
The album is called Tigress, and the song is called Acapella.
Yeah, it is.
Acapella.
I'm singing alone. Yeah.
There she goes.
Yeah.
You can find it at frontiers.it. Jim Crean's website is jimcrean.net. MarkFauner.com. Correct, Mark? And
Right.
Greg?
You can find Atomic Kings on Facebook. Just look up the Atomic Kings Facebook page, and it'll tell you what's going on. And if I might say real quick, guys, it's been my great pleasure to an honor to be on here with you guys.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm a huge Mark Farner fan. Jim and I are kind of brothers from a different mother, and
Yeah.
I'm going to be checking you out, Chez, and seeing what you do. So when I get to England, we can open for you.
What a diverse group, right, guys?
Right on.
Hey
Anyway.
guys, can I just take a
And
picture
Ralph,
of us all?
Congratulations on your 1 year, Ralph.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I could not have done it without you guys. That's why I have you. You can't deny my passion. I love all of you. I really mean that. I'll go to the Mark, cover your ears. I'll go to the gates of hell for you guys.
Good job
Everyone
today, Roth.
smile.
All right. Thank you, guys.
God bless you.
I'm going to post the interview on all your pages, and you can find it on both my pages and YouTube by tomorrow.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your 1 year anniversary, and thank you for having me.
Thank
Nice
you,
meeting you all, guys.
Bye.
Nice to
Bye,
meet
guys.
you, Chez, Jim, Greg, Brother Ralph.
Brother Mark,
God bless you. If
I'll see you
don't
next
in
time. Bye
if I
now.
don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture.
Bye, everyone.
Bye now. Oh, wait. I got to say it.
Wait.
Don't forget to kick life in the nuts.
All right.
That's my saying. Goodbye, guys.
Beauty.